standard and presence of spoken word here in South Africa. Young, budding, focused and much talented wordsmiths from all over the country have polished up their game for the 2015 SFYL leg, which is still in the process of finding the best of the best in what they call live literature. A project by Word and Sound. The competition will announce its winner in 2016 after a number of showcases around the country that sees poets in different provinces battle it out before the finalists gather in Grahamstown to see who the national winner is. Joining us now to tell us more is Mutinta Bbenkele, who's no stranger to the show, and she's part of the organizing team. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning.
Let's talk about the word slam and why it's significant in a poetry competition.
Well, slam defines that you're actually going to be competing. Slam is not you getting on stage with a book and reading. It requires you to rehearse. It requires you to go through an extensive process beyond just writing. So slam is competitive. It's aggressive. It's like the street fighting of poetry. Yeah, basically.
Why was it important for Word and Sound to introduce a poetry contest?
Well, Word and Sound is a slam company. We have a poetry league where people accumulate points the entire year. So it's really what we've been doing for the past 5 years. So it's nothing new. It's just this is a different format.
Yeah. What's different about this format?
It's different because we are challenging each province in South Africa to bring the best of the best and battle it out. I think this exposes you to the scene beyond Johannesburg. It's really great for that. And yeah, man, you have to bring it. You really have to bring it. Yeah.
And I mean, considering that the competition is national, speak to us about the logistics that go into finally getting to Grahamstown in 2016.
Well, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. Basically, it starts from talking to our partners in the different regions in the country. And from there, they have to select a couple of people who are then selected by the audience, who are then sent to Johannesburg or Grahamstown to compete in the final show. But this year, it is happening at the Soweto Theatre in Joburg. Not so much Grahamstown. That was last year. Yeah.
Now, what are some of the challenges of conducting and sustaining this kind of competition?
It's really hard because what slam poetry is to you is not what slam poetry is to me.
Yeah.
And we're finding that that's a big problem with the different regions, you know. But they learn that, that's what they come to the stage and take home with them. And we're spreading the culture, the proper culture of slam poetry everywhere by doing this, by integrating our stages together. So yeah, I think that's the best way I can answer that question, yeah.
And what is the best compliment you've received about the work so far and the feedback that you're receiving from other poets?
Wow, the feedback has been amazing. I can't think of the best compliment, they just keep rolling in. Because really, this is one of the biggest poetry initiatives that's happening beyond Poetry Africa, you know, and it's got a lot of people hungry and trying to get onto the stage, man. So I think just the feedback from people who want to get in and how do we get in and why are we not in, I think that's enough praise, you know, that's praise in itself. Yeah.
And how do you try to make it different each year? I mean, last year you ended up in Grahamstown and I remember seeing the final and how intense it is. You know, how do you try to make sure that you keep your audience glued to these final, is it the final four? But
from each province.
Yeah, from each province. And how do you sustain it?
I really think that this is something that we don't even need to promote anymore. People are just hungry. They just want to see it. People are putting a lot of work into putting out good poetry, and that's enough in itself. So the audience just wants to know how much work you have put in. So as an individual, I think they do the promoting themselves. The fact that they got on stage and auditioned is the reason everyone else is out watching them.
And how poetry has evolved as well. I mean, you expect somebody to stand on the stage, but, you know, you've seen how, you know, poets will use a video wall behind them, will use drums, and, you know, is that the direction that poetry is going, where we're evolving as, you know, life is evolving as well?
Yeah, I think you said it when you said live literature, you know. We're incorporating theatre in all its aspects into our poetry, with music, with the videos, with dances and all of that stuff. You're trying to diversify the art. And you can't become stagnant. And this is what we're doing as the young poets in SA. We're just pushing boundaries. We're really testing boundaries here. Yeah.
So has the official competition officially started?
The competition has, yes, well, today it started. So if you can tell me the international act and tweet at Word and Sound, you get yourself 2 tickets to come and see our Festival, which is on the 2nd and 3rd of October at the Soweto Theatre, as mentioned.
What's the Twitter handle?
The Twitter is at word_in_sound. That's it.
That's it. And the word and the letter N.
Yes,
word
not and. Yes.
Yeah, word and sound.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Pleasure.
for talking to us.
Pleasure.
All right, speaking to us about Slam for Your Life, Mutinta Bbenkele is part of Word and Sound, which is the poetry company and collective behind the Slam for Your Life National Poetry Contest. The month of October will see the competition head to, of course, Eastern Cape. It's heading around the country to unearth poetry gems in the provinces. Follow them on Facebook. They're Word and Sound Poetry and Live Music Series, and then on Twitter as well.